So let's see, it's 3 o'clock on February 7th. We'll start the Stoneybrook Gateway Advisory Committee meeting. It's February 7th, as I said. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 are in attendance. The only one that's missing is Angela, and I understand that Angela will be coming in a little bit late. So call to order, approval of that. I don't know if you had a chance to glance at the minutes yet. If you have, and you have any issues or questions, now's a good time to bring them up. I did pass off the list of the lakes and the lake numbers off to Scott, so he was going to transfer them onto another map to be kept down in the office, so they know what the lake numbers are that are currently being used, because right now, we had no clue, or we'd be prior to. And that was brought up by the number of stumps that were in the lakes and cutting them down. And that still hasn't been done yet. We're waiting for them to get even lower, and they will. How you doing?
You guys had a pretty full meeting, huh?
Yeah. Talked about stop signs, the bullet holes, and
Bullet holes and stop signs?
Yeah, well, one of the stop signs, but it turns out it didn't happen in our community. It's a temporary on the corner of Stone Valley and Pebblebrook,
Okay.
and it should be swapped out soon. They're fixing the old one.
Well, did George get all excited the other night when he saw it, or?
It was Lou that got all excited, and that got George all excited.
Okay.
And
They get each other excited.
they got a hold on. So in any case, if no one has any comments, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Okay, Virginia made the motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I will.
Okay. Janice makes the second, and is everyone in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any opposed? All right, so universal, we have approved the minutes. And we have an arborist proposal. So, Elle, you're up.
Did everyone have a chance to review the revised proposal that we sent
I
out?
read it. I can't speak for everyone else, but yes, I
Is this
did
the
look at it.
revised one?
It's revised, it has 3 items on it for a total
Yeah.
of $3,600.
Yeah.
And that will clean up the common areas behind Ivy Stone.
So we're talking specifically the area between Ivory Stone and Stone Valley. Okay. Yeah, I understand there's one tree back there that, as we thought, it's an oak, and it had to come off that person's property that fell toward that property, and that really is
Well,
there.
that was in the other common area. That one was
Yeah.
taken off of this proposal.
Okay, right.
Because I'm pretty sure Scott Charmont
Yeah, contacted the
advised
owner.
me, and that it had been determined it had fallen from private property.
That is correct. Okay, and that's what I want to make, that's why I was curious that everything else here is in that.
Yes, the Shady Lady that's on Pebblebrook is right across from Crooked Creek. It's got a split trunk. So it looks fine from the road as you ride by, it looks just fine, but when I walk up to it, you can see
the
clearly that
crack.
there's a split in the
And
trunk.
there's nothing that can be done about that or anything.
Yeah, you can put a strap around it, but it's still not,
The ones,
it's dangerous, is what it is.
the ones that we propped up around the clubhouse, they survived. Those,
Gotcha.
they're already, the wood's already been taken down.
Gotcha, well, this one, like I say, it's got a split going right down the middle of the trunk.
Does it have like a V, two big
Yes, yeah, that's what's
branches?
gonna happen at some point, it's gonna split apart like that. And the one that's not behind 9874 Bluestone, it's technically on the berm. That address was there for the arborist so that they would know where the location is, but the tree is actually off of the berm that's on Pebblebrook, and it fell after the storm, actually.
Well, you know, we did have that windstorm afterwards, because that's where I lost half my tree. After the storm.
Finish it off, and the
Yeah.
trees were already weak.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
It
we're
was
talking
obviously
about-
weakened, and the ground was saturated, and it just fell over.
Okay. I talked to Margaret today about this, and she says, yeah, we gotta do it. And she also agrees that it's Stony Brook's responsibility, even though this is within that drainage plane, so to speak, that you guys have been cutting the grass over the years. I'm talking about the area between Stone Valley and Ivory Stone, that
Yeah,
area.
we cut the grass in there,
right.
but it's a Stoneybrook Master Association.
I
owns the
understand.
property.
We own the property, right. And I would say that if anybody objects, but Mark and I both have come to the conclusion we gotta do it and take it out of the 004 fund. And,
The ficus tree that you guys cut up, will that grow back?
It might try to come back, it could possibly try to come back from the stump. They are fairly resilient, yeah.
How'd that even
But-
get there?
Someone planted it.
Someone
yes.
planted
And that was
That
the-
thing-
There's,
that thing was-
there's
that thing was
multiple,
big.
there's multiple ficus trees in that common
Exactly.
area.
it? There is?
Is it possible that nature birds feeding on something that grows on the ficus just pooped out a seed
Ficus
there?
branch.
I would
yeah.
not say that it's impossible. I say where they are planted, it's highly unlikely.
Okay.
Or where they are growing from, it's unlikely.
I can't imagine that Lennar planted ficus in the middle. If you're saying that someone planted it, had to be residents, and those people could be long gone
Oh, yeah.
and bankrupt years ago or something.
And
But in
the
any
point
case-
is current, they are not on private property.
They are not there in
within
that area, and we agree, And,
The person didn't wanna take up their yard.
so in any case.
I'll make a motion to approve the $3,600 from Anchor Tree Service.
And for the money to come out of,
The 001?
004.
004.
Yeah, because they don't want to pay for it, and
Second.
I'd rather take it 004. And we got, all right,
I'll second.
so JT, no, actually, Tom has seconded. JT made a motion to approve the $3,600 quote to clean this up. Apparently, there's a lot of debris there, even Margaret was surprised. And to take those funds out of the 004 account for Stoneybrook, and Tom has seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
So be it. Okay. Was there something else? I know that there was,
Not unless you have something
No,
you'd
I
like
know-
to bring up to me. I didn't hear you note those cypress trees and I'm still
Yeah,
just
I
kinda waiting
realize-
for it to dry out a little bit more so we
Exactly.
can get a good.
and I was just
Close
looking
cut.
at that this past week, because I'm actually sitting, my sister-in-law bought a house that's on that little tiny pond behind Stone Valley. And I was looking at that, and I could see they're high and dry now, but I'd just as well let it go over and see if there's anything else, and it'll be easier to get to it. And that we'll do that, I assume, later in the winter, early spring.
Well, yes, in the springtime, yes.
Okay.
We'll come back out and I'll come to you before we do that.
I noticed those limbs at the corner of Weatherstone
Gone?
are gone, so thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Out along Gateway, on the gateway side of our fence, there's large areas of Mexican petunias that are dead. Do we have any plans to do anything with that?
Currently, I don't have any plans to make any plant replacements. Honestly, when because there was talk of the landscape architect coming in and doing a design for the boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
And I've talked with, other residents and, from Stoneybrook.
Name Kathy?
What would be wonderful would be to have those petunia beds disappear.
I know you don't like
And,
them. I know
well,
you
they
don't.
are a category 1 invasive
I-
species. And you see what happens if they start to go, then they look horrible. When they look good, they're wonderful and look great.
But I
but-
can't blame them for what happened to them. It was the failure of the irrigation system. We literally cooked them things last year.
Right.
And given time, they do spread and fill in, but I'll
They
be
do tend to
older and
do
grayer
that.
than I am by the time that doesn't occur.
Well, there's, and I would say that there is, currently I don't have a plan for landscape enhancements on the boulevard other than replacing sod areas that were damaged
Mhm.
from storm debris.
What about
But I
sod?
wouldn't say it's never going to happen because,
Okay.
as we go forward, there will have to be landscape
I know money's tight
enhancements.
right now too with all the lake repairs. What about the sod replacement where we had dead spots from the wood being piled up forever inside Stoneybrook along Pebblebrook?
Yes, last week Kathy and I and Freddie from Mainscape, we rode the entire Pebblebrook and all of the cul-de-sacs.
Okay,
We measured to see what kind of sod replacements we would have. So I have the numbers of how much sod we have, how much we will need, and it's quite a bit.
I know.
So my task that was handed back to me was to be, let's check on some other pricing from, possibly some other vendors.
Sources, because of the quantity, you might be able to get business from a bigger supplier of such things.
There's as you can see, there are a lot of areas that need to be.
Any
sod needs
chance
to be
of
replaced.
federal funds, FEMA funds, or anything coming into play here?
I couldn't tell you about that. Mike has been working with FEMA.
Okay.
So I personally don't know what they would and would not, or the criteria they would need to have it done.
Who is going to be cleaning up between Stone Valley and,
Anchor tree
it
service.
is Anchor, okay, that's right. All right, so that will get done sometime in the not too distant future.
And along with the sod replacements that are needed down there, also in some of the cul-de-sacs, so Greenstone as an example, Rock Ridge as another example, the trees came down. Some of it damaged some of the shrubs in the cul-de-sac. Again, when we went out and measured, walked off with the wheel and measured the sod areas, we also put that on the list. So we're going to be having proposals for all of that repair coming up.
Okay, I assume that sod will wait until we get closer to the rainy season? Okay. Anybody have any questions, Val?
Nope.
Thank you all so much for your time, and hope you
Thank you all
have
for
a
stopping
wonderful
by.
day.
You too.
Didn't get any feedback on the thing. Stephen's gonna be in the meeting tomorrow from Severn Trent. And I'm gonna try to make that meeting in tomorrow afternoon and talk to him about that. I'll email him ahead of time to see if I can get any information on why that was so out of line.
Angela just came in.
312.
Yeah, this is wrapping down, probably won't take that long, because most of these discussions are almost
You
over.
want to let the recording know Angela just walked in, 312?
Yes, 312 Angela Lansbury, Jesus.
Angela, yes, Sullivan.
Angela Sullivan just walked in, she was running late, and, oh my God, the brain started. And, let's see, feedback, I know nothing, the research options for landscaping with or without Mainscape. I have to say, that hasn't moved forward yet. I know that both Gateway and Stoneybrook right now have committees looking into this and looking into other options for landscaping. So that really isn't anything that we can really do much about. Follow-up discussion regarding signposts, light poles, monument signs. There has been further progress on the signpost. We are fixing and replacing them. It's been a slow progress, but it is working. Light poles, some have been replaced. Supposedly, they know that we still have more missing. I don't know if Mike's in the building or not.
Yeah, I saw him.
Diane, I don't know if you can hear us, but is Mike in the building? Can he possibly come in?
Oh, well.
You're not waiting for a response, are you?
Oh, sometimes she'll come through the door.
So we'll just go find some.
Yeah. Because I do have some questions about, he's the one that's been in contact with FPL, and I think he's the one that probably would, the engineer.
I'll drag him in here. You need to know to shut his door when we're here, you know? It'll be a quick question.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, how you doing, Mike?
Good.
Thanks for coming in. I know that they did come in, FPL, and do some light pole work. but they didn't do everything. Do we have, and I was told indirectly that you have been in communication with
Right, we
them.
corresponded with them via email, asked them for timeline, and they said, we'll get back to you.
Yeah, well, I had heard something like late March or something.
He never gave me any.
Do they have a
date.
clue that there still are several poles still missing?
Yes, he sent us maps, I went out and field verified which
Okay.
ones were there, which ones are missing. We provided those back to them, ground truthing, so they're supposed to get with their people and,
So if I get asked at the board meeting about the light posts, I can tell them at least they're aware of it.
we have
And we're waiting.
informed FPNL of the missing poles,
Mhm.
and we're waiting for their schedule.
Okay.
And who had the map of the poles that are supposed to be there? Who had the map?
We have a map.
You had the
They,
map.
they sent us the maps of all the poles that were installed. Then we went out. right,
The
we
last,
went
the
out-
last install or from original?
The latest and greatest after we improved and increased the number?
The
I
ones
guess?
that, because it went down the side streets
Yeah.
and
Okay,
off,
yeah,
off
the
Pebble
ones.
Brook, so.
Do you have a number of how many? Just so we know we're communicating that.
I don't have the exact number.
I was just curious. Go ahead. The ones that were out in the lot here, and you were matching up the numbers, did everything
Couldn't,
match?
no,
There's no
couldn't match up
numbers.
the numbers,
There's-
the numbers weren't on the.
Yeah.
Only one
Well,
pole had odd numbers.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was pretty well stripped off.
So really, you just have to go with the latest map?
Yeah.
Okay, because all I got was Stone Tower Loop, somebody said two.
And I'll try, as we get more poles
You're,
replaced.
I provided the copy of the missing poles to the HOA.
Yeah, and I did pass that on to
Or
Scott.
to your management company.
Yeah.
Scott has, I copied Scott with a
Mhm.
list of the missing locations, so Scott has it. So if you want to
Okay.
follow.
As
up
well
with
as where you were going to be putting in new signposts too, I believe he has a list on that too, if I remember correctly.
Well, the ones that are still missing.
Yes.
Two, and the one that you all were working on.
We're working on some, that's correct, we're turning them around, they're working their way down the street.
I
but-
just went ahead and ordered a new one for the end of Pebble Brook, because I didn't know what that one looked like, if it was an old sign or a new sign,
Pebblebrook and what?
all the way at the end.
Greenstone?
Greenstone?
Zone?
It was not Greenstone, it's on the other side.
Oh,
Stone
Stone
Valley.
Valley.
Stone Valley.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if that, because the problem we had, some of the posts were very old and the fixtures were actually welded on and they weren't screwed on, and they couldn't get the names off because they were
Welded.
welded in there.
Understood.
So I ordered 3 new poles with the names and everything.
That included Weatherstone, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. I think, Weatherstone was missing and Ivory Stone, the sign itself was missing, is that
Somebody
been
said
replaced?
Iverstone was up.
It is up?
Well,
Okay, good.
that was just from my
Yeah, but,
messages.
the next one isn't though.
Stone Tower?
Stone Tower would
Whether-
be the next one.
Must be
There's
Stone-
three-
must be Stone Tower that's
there's
missing,
3 that
yeah.
are missing currently when
Okay.
I last went out. So those 3 that are missing, I have ordered new.
Okay, fine.
I've already got the poles, I just need the names.
Just need the
and
names.
so they could turn
I
those
was
around
told
pretty quick.
yesterday by Paul Kilmeyer, who was a former board member and the president of our association, that he had an extra stop sign around. I didn't even realize that. So if we need a stop sign, we have one, though, the actual sign itself that says stop on it.
Oh, I've got plenty of those.
Okay, okay.
It's
one
the
of the-
border that, that you would need the green border that goes around that actually, I've got those.
Okay, I'm not sure how much of the stop sign is there, but I'll have to look into that. We were, in the past, we missed an issue about installing a stop sign where Bluestone goes from Pebblebrook, if you can picture that, down to the loop, the big racetrack loop that goes around. There's, that little strip of road tees with Bluestone. Even though it is Bluestone, it tees with it. And there is a request to install a new stop sign there. What's involved with doing that?
Well, I mean, one could be put there, we just, you would need to order you want the green decorative post. We'd
I
need to
would say
order
so,
that.
yes.
Okay.
Right now, it's a 2-way stop. I think they want to make it a 3-way stop.
What street?
What happens is,
Bluestone.
it's a T street, and motor vehicle law is when you come to a T, you're supposed to stop. But people aren't. They're just blowing around that bend and left hand and right hand turn, so if anybody's at that stop sign, they're blowing through, they gotta really watch it, because sometimes they're coming
Well, the
through
one
at a good
that, I
speed.
mean, you,
Greenstone and Pebblestone's is a three-way stop, or a three-way turn in a T road, and that's not a mandatory.
Actually, there is a stop sign. On
Not Greenstone going to Pebblestone.
Greenstone is not part of the T. Greenstone is the straight run. The T, the stop sign is on Pebblebrook.
It's on Pebblebrook.
Yeah, that's where the T is.
So the
The
stop- so the
problem
top-
is
so the
there's
stop sign on-
nowhere, when,
Right now,
this is an
right
issue
now,
I
there's a
brought
stop
up with
sign.
Lennar many years ago. When they decided to put a house on lot 40, there was nowhere to put a stop sign, because the house is where the stop sign would go, the driveway is where the stop sign would go. You can go over there and walk it, measure it, there's nowhere to put a stop sign, unless you wanted it 25 feet back from the
So
intersection.
on Bluestone, we have a stop sign here and a stop sign here. You want one here.
Yes. That's correct.
it would be a matter of asking a traffic engineer, is that warranted there?
Well,
'Cause usually
the
the
residents
through-
are complaining about it and saying
Usually
it
the
does
through
warrant.
street, if you're coming, there wouldn't be a stop on the through,
Well-
it's when you go around the loop and you
Now, here's
intersect
what-
with it again.
Here's the thing, you see how that road tees with the loop?
Yes.
This right here is not really a through street, it's just a big loop. This is the street that goes out to Pebblebrook. So everybody that comes in and out of Bluestone is going on that little strip and coming to that point.
The other thing would be also the stop sign, if there's no place to put it where you're supposed to put it.
Yeah, in this particular case, I don't think that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's a problem. But it was an issue at the end of Greenstone, where it's across
Send
from,
me an email
on
telling
the
me,
Bluestone one?
telling me where you want it, we're going back and forth, we're talking about it.
Yeah.
A quick
Send-
little diagram, email.
Send me an email, maybe a picture, show me where it's at, I'll go look at it and we can go from there.
Okay, that's fine. Can you take care of that one?
Because you'd also need to put a stop bar on the pavement.
On the pavement, correct.
So,
Yeah,
That's more money.
I know.
and there's,
Well, we can start the process anyway. Doesn't mean it happens right away, but we'll start the process.
Can you install a stop sign first and then have the stop bar when we redo our?
it's supposed, if you're putting in a stop sign, you
Usually
need a stop bar.
paint it at the bar.
You have
I
to
agree.
tell them where to stop.
Yeah.
Visually.
That's the thing is, if we do that, are we gonna have to put a crosswalk now?
We
There's a
don't,
sidewalk
we don't
there.
have other stop signs.
Huh?
We don't have all the stop signs.
This is the lines or the crosswalks?
Crosswalk.
Okay.
All right, so we'll do that. Okay, we'll get back to you on that. Preserve area, or the area between, it's not really preserve, but the area between Stone Valley and Ivory Stone, we're gonna clean that up. That's been approved, so that where there's debris in that area over there. The one that, we own it, but it's part of the drainage area in the past, it's been cut by Gateway. In fact, Margaret, I know, I spoke to her today, would like to, maybe the two of us sit down with you, just go over a couple of things about that.
Right, because I'm looking at the agreement with y'all, and I've talked to her about that there would need to be the district has been doing things that the district
Well, going back to the
has
early
done, but
days.
without, but there's no,
But I'll finish, I know where you're going, because Margaret and I even talked about what your comment was. And that is that we cut and take care of things that the district normally might be responsible for, but they're little sections and pieces and what. And years ago, when Jesse was, I'm not sure what his title was, but was working here and handled such things, we had an understanding that, all right, you take care of that, and we'll take care of those little
Right.
strips and areas when we're cutting it, because it's just easier for both of us to do it that
but
way.
now I'm being asked, show me in the agreement where it says the district's
Who's
supposed to-
asking? Is it
Hey, it was brought up at
Ed Tinkle?
it was brought up at the last meeting, if you listened to the meeting, why are we
No,
doing?
I did not.
Why are we doing things in Stoneybrook that we're not supposed to be
Because-
doing?
No, tell them to go past it.
One hand wash the other, we could bill for other things too that we're taking care of.
I know.
And I don't
I'm
think he
just-
wants to go there, I know.
I'm staff,
I understand. But right now, I know he's digging. In any case, we'll get back to that. Anybody else have anything for Mike?
No.
So the good news is, the street signs, we have the exact ones, they're being replaced. The lamp posts, now you have a map, those will be done whenever, but we have.
FPNL is working.
Yeah, that's
We
beyond our
we know
control,
the ones.
but
so
we
I
know
don't
they're
have to
aware
keep
of it.
asking. I just had a question, it's
Sure.
just a weird one. The 3 stop signs in the neighborhood that have been recently put up, I presume that's by you guys? The ones that are silver based with the silver poles, those are the ones that you put up and that you're gonna do the green
Two of
poles
them,
and surrounding? I saw
two
3.
of, well, the third one is with the bullet holes, that's not me.
Okay, yeah, I saw that one yesterday.
That, yeah, that's been there a while.
So how long does it take to get those with the green poles, with the green trim around it aesthetically?
The lead time to order it is several weeks. It'll probably be a month before we would
Okay.
get the sign.
Just curious.
And that was one of the things I was thinking and talking with Scott, that we could utilize the company that you have been working with to actually do the install, so I don't have to have this company come from Tampa and then,
Pay
you know,
traveling and everything else.
bill us for the install for, you know, the guys to come down and do it. We can
I'm
get
sure
somebody else.
more than
closer.
happy to do that, and they're very reasonable. Yeah, in
Okay.
fact, going
Just-
forward, you might consider even using them yourself occasionally for some other gateway projects that you're doing.
So that's
Um,
on Scott's list, he's working on that.
I have him in the loop as to what
Okay.
I'm doing. Because I haven't ordered the signs yet. We have to, there's a whole process when you're doing anything with design. It has to, they send you proofs, you have to approve it, then they send it back, and then,
Right, everything's a process, right?
Well, now you're talking about DOT gets involved, correct, in this, I
No.
would assume?
no,
Don't the signs have to meet certain standards?
no, we already, there's the signs we've already had up in
Okay.
Stoneybrook. Same, this is the same company that put them up all over
Originally.
Gateway, originally.
Okay.
That's why we're still using them, because it's the consistency of the signs.
Mhm.
They're
Understood.
expensive, but they all look the same.
Yep. Okay, I think we're good then.
All right.
And the monument,
Thank you.
what about the monument signs? What,
Which monument are we talking about?
I don't know, you have one here, the monument signs.
Monument signs.
The board, they're not doing anything. They, if you listen to the meeting.
I didn't.
They're not gonna do anything.
We're talking about the one on 82?
All of them, they're not gonna do anything with any of them.
Oh, changing the name and stuff like that?
They were, no, it wasn't the name, it was just doing, you know, the.
Well, I had heard,
To make them all consistent.
I had heard there was an attempt to even change the logo though, or something.
You can't believe what you read.
Okay.
You know,
I will.
What do you
And I
want
will.
to get?
if you all
on the
could
Gateway
just
Sun?
do, you know, if you all would just,
No, well,
nobody asked the district questions. Everybody, I mean, there's all this gossip, and I
is.
would say, I mean, in the
We know
rumor
all.
mill, and that's the thing that makes everything, you know, so difficult. If you have questions, please call me. I am more than happy to give you correct information. But I mean, when we keep on going to areas where we get gossip and you don't know that these things are truthful, then you're creating problems for everybody.
Well,
So
and-
call us, ask us, and we'll give
Well-
you correct information.
actually, this is our opportunity to sort of do that. That's what the advisory committee is all about. Because we
Okay.
don't actually approve anything, we just recommend and communicate. We're a
Well,
liaison.
there's a lot of hearsay and a lot of stuff that people think is true. Just call us, ask us, email me. I will let you know.
Well, I
And
just
that's-
learned if I'm not able to attend the Gateway Services meeting, I need to get the recording, I need to be able to listen to it later.
Mhm.
Oh, you can just go to our website and you can watch it.
Okay, I need to do that.
Okay, very good.
Thank you, Tom.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
So we talked about the stump removal already. That was, that's gonna happen. It's irrigation items, they are working on it. I believe the irrigation is working correctly within Stoneybrook right now, unless somebody else knows differently.
Well, it's not coming out as much in the middle of the day. as it did.
Well, they have a new circuit board and controller, and it's been programmed, and I can't say that I don't know anybody who's actually gone out and verified it, but again, given some responsibility for doing their job and doing it correctly, and I assume they have, so. Although I have to confess, I do not hear the water coming on that berm behind us.
I haven't seen it for a while either.
So that's one thing I'll talk to Mainscape about. That's not really a.
Unless it's
for
coming
here,
on in the middle of the night.
which is possible, but I tried to see how wet it is out there, and it doesn't seem like it is. Pressure cleaning the sidewalks along Pebblebrook Boulevard.
Is this Sweeper Man again?
Well, the company that we used the last time sort of replaced Sweeper Man, and I didn't think they did that bad, just that the timing was bad. Do you recall,
I
remember
thought it
last
was
year?
Sweeper Man.
No,
No.
that was since then.
Yeah,
Was it Wolf?
I don't remember the name.
I think it was
The
Sweeper.
last guy that did it though,
I
chose
could've
it
swore it
did
was
not
Sweeper
round the
Man.
corners.
I think it was because
Go back to the stop
they gave us
sign
a
or go
price
back
if
to
you
the
did 1
property
year,
line or
2 year,
whatever.
or 3 year, there was a breakage in the price.
yeah, but the last time it was not Sweeper Man, it was somebody else. In fact, I think it was a big black guy, if I remember correctly. It was one of the people
I
who were
don't
doing
remember
it.
the name.
No, the name wasn't a big black guy.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, but the individuals,
Oh.
I did not, I know the
I
other
could have swore I
guys.
thought it was 2 guys doing it.
It was 2 guys,
It
yeah.
was 2 guys. But I could have swore it was Sweeper Man.
And this is already in our budget to do, right?
We were going to expand upon it and do it an additional time, because we came to the conclusion that doing it once a year was not working, so try to do it twice a year.
Right.
And the timing was critical when we were going to do it.
Took the black olive trees.
Yeah, because it just, the last time we did it, and right after that, all kinds of garbage came out of the trees and just blew it out of the water. So next time, we need to do it, and that would, and this is a spring issue, isn't it not? Now, normally, we would have done it in the fall if we were going to do it, but this particular year, we had the floods. And so we missed that boat. And the question is, do we want to do it now in the wintertime, then do it again later in the spring or early summer after everything pollinates and all that stuff drops out of the trees?
The reason I was asking about the budgeting is just like with the landscape committee, you have people reviewing for like a new bid. Is this something that we need to get a new bid on? Are we definitely using the same person?
I'll tell you what. At the end of this meeting, I'll ask Diane what she has on that from last year, okay? Because I honestly don't remember.
Right, if it's just getting higher and higher, we may have to get some bids.
Well,
wasn't
it
getting higher.
wasn't getting higher. What happened is that there was an incentive to use it more often, because in theory, it's less work, so it was a little bit cheaper each time if we did it more often.
Gotcha.
And that's what we
What it
did.
was like $2,000 to get it cleaned, but if we spend an additional $2,300, we can get some special treatment on there and it'll make it last longer, and that's when we're like, why spend the $2,300 to
Just
for
get it done
protection?
every 6
Let's just get it
months.
done again.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can add
and,
That's how-
that.
that's
and-
where it
and in
came.
fact, here, they did a section, treated and untreated, and the difference was negligible between what was treated and not treated, so,
Wasn't much.
so let's just
And
do
the
it a
20
second time.
And the 2,300 just made them
Yeah,
numbers.
so that was the idea. And whether it was budgeted for or not, it probably was not the second time. So in effect, what we would do is try to tap into some of the surplus that's sitting there. And that would be the
So
best
we
thing
gotta
to do.
check with Al or whoever and ask when.
I will check with Diane, who did it last
Well, I'm in
time.
on Tommy though. She can tell us when that stuff's gonna drop and then we'll do it right after.
That's a good point. But we got time for that. That won't happen. The issue is, do we want to do it now, get somebody out there
Well,
now
that's what I
to
heard
do
people
it?
were complaining,
They're
saying,
pretty
"Why
na-
not done
They're
now?"
pretty nasty now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
And I'm
so
thinking
do it
since we
now.
missed it after
We're
the
several
hurricane, we
months
need to do
away
it.
from when the stuff drops. That ain't happening
Then
until
we just
later.
back up the next 6 months after, but it's timing. If we didn't time it right the first time, let's get it right now. Do it now.
Well,
And then wait 6 months.
What happened, we had the gap because of the hurricane.
Right.
And in the prior time, we did it at the right time, just a couple of weeks early. It had to be a couple of weeks later. In any case, all right, so like I said, at the end of this meeting, I'll get a hold
Okay.
of Diane. We'll find out who it was and when. And try to get that done. And in fact, if someone wants to make a motion to clean the sidewalks and get it done ASAP, I'll accept that motion.
How bad are they?
They're getting bad.
There are some sections that are getting bad.
Because I'm not walking them anymore, so I
They're
don't.
black.
Yeah. Someone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All right, so we got Dick making a motion, Virginia seconds to clean the sidewalks as soon as we can get it done. and we will check with Diane, who did it last time, and
Yes.
authorize that, okay?
Reasonably
Any-
possible.
Any
yeah.
discussion on that?
No.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry.
Aye.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes to get the sidewalks cleaned, okay?
Joe,
Yeah.
they need a little more supervision this time, though. They did not round the corners last time. They didn't go all the way back to the property line. They may not know where the
Well, what happened
property line
last
is.
time, they started slow back by Greenstone, and by the time they got halfway up to the community, they realized, wait a second, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
And they started going faster.
But even at
But they
Greenstone,
did come back.
at Greenstone, they didn't wrap the corner, though.
They didn't?
With Willie's house there, it's just, it was a mess.
So then
Yeah, they
somebody-
gotta wrap it to the, beyond the crosswalk, so at least you can cross the walk-in.
Well,
You're
there's,
walking
there's
in.
a property line there, I mean, there's a point there, I mean, Mainscape is supposed to trim back to that point, they
Mhm.
should pressure wash back at that point. Somebody knows what that is, I'm not sure I do, but.
But
maybe
before
we need-
somebody gets paid, doesn't somebody go and say the job's done correctly? Somebody supervise
We
the
did
end
that,
job?
we did that with Sweeper Man, he did a horrible job, we made him go back out and do
Oh,
it
good,
again.
Yeah.
okay, that's what you gotta do.
In any case, that thing about coming around the bend, I do remember you mentioned that to me last year, and then,
We may have to go, we may have to
Yeah.
put a permanent marker or a stake or something there.
No, all just gotta do is just before he does it, I mean, we meet with them, someone from this committee, or even Scott can meet with them and say, hey, these are the spots where you gotta go up to on every street.
yeah.
I'm not sure it's all that obvious, though. Scott may not even know where it is, where that point is.
Then you get to be the person.
should be-
Handle
it
at
should be
least,
at the proper-
handle
well,
the
I'm not sure I do
curvature.
either, but
the
we can
curve,
figure
you
it
know?
out.
Get around the curve,
Yeah.
It's really, yeah, get around the curb to where you see the sidewalk starts in the person's yard,
yeah.
and that's where they need to end.
You can't tell that on Greenstone.
You can?
It does vary in some
I mean,
streets.
Willie
And if you
Willie
notice,
doesn't clean his sidewalk, so his is as black as the other one,
Yeah,
so
I
I
know.
don't know where it is.
but it's more than being black. What I'm more concerned about is the slipperiness of the,
It is,
yeah,
it is dangerous.
and that's why I want to get that
Especially when
on.
the sprinklers were on in the middle of the day and people were out walking.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll consider that approved, and I'll try to get it done. After that, committee requests and audience comments. Now, there's nobody in the audience, I think, that has anybody
No.
that's gonna have something to say, but I know Angela might have something to say, unless it's
Well,
been
I'd like to
answered.
apologize for being late. The only question, I'm sorry, I may have missed it, was I noticed the fences are being put up.
Mhm.
Was there a timeline, like when that job is like, okay, it should be finished March 30th, or is there any?
It should be sooner than that.
Oh, good.
As far as fixing the fences, the exact timeline, I don't know, Scott would know.
Okay.
He's the one that's in the office, he's the one that's handling that. We had to deal with the insurance company who kind of shot us down. Then we had to get the fences ordered, and things were backed up. They just simply backed up. And I believe they have ordered and got everything in they need, so it's a question of getting it up. I wouldn't be a bit surprised it's not done in the next couple of weeks.
Excellent. Well, it's looking good so far.
Mhm.
And my only other question was just people complaining about the guardhouse letting people through. And I don't know if
Did you
that's
see that correction yesterday?
an HOA situation.
Did you see that correction? It's an
One-
HOA situation, but did you see that correction yesterday?
One of
The
them.
person who called and said, yeah, or complained that the guard let her in, they called her husband. And her husband gave them the okay to come in, and she was not aware of that.
Right,
So, they're doing their job.
yeah.
They are.
And understand.
Because we get
that-
the emails how many people they get turned away.
Well, like the other day, there was somebody at the, and the bar wouldn't go up right. And, you know, I don't know every neighbor's car. And all of a sudden, the person honked and the guy just let him through. And I'm like, okay, I sure hope that's somebody that belongs here. You know what I mean? I was like, so I was just curious if, I'm not in and out of the gate a lot, but I've just heard a lot.
I
of
can't
things.
comment on that one, I don't know. There's a
Okay.
chance that possibly they, we got to the end of the month, they didn't get their ID, and if you
Right.
don't come in to get your ID, you get shut off.
Right,
And that's very likely what happened there.
right.
So, no. Hopefully, they'll handle that and get around getting the ID. But that happens every month, beginning of the month, also every quarter, because people forget about paying their bill, and we shut them off.
And then our server's working fine again, but it broke down again, right?
It broke down on, on Saturday. There was a problem Friday night into Saturday, and the guard and didn't say anything to anybody. And actually, I found out, because I was trying to call somebody in, I was calling all Saturday morning, and all I got was a busy signal.
Right.
And I finally went down to the office, and Sarah didn't know anything about it. Called over, she did. We called Cypress, and there's a whole story there too with Cypress.
It still wasn't working yesterday.
I used it yesterday.
I used it what was yesterday? It's Tuesday. I called and I got a recording that it was out of service. That was in the morning.
That the calling server,
The voice server.
what did it say?
That this number is out of service.
Did you call it twice to make sure it was the right number?
Yeah, did you try it a second time, make sure you hit all the digits right?
Yeah. And
Because
then-
that's not the message you should get.
Right,
and I thought,
because mine's in my phone.
what is this?
Yeah.
So I called the guard house,
Uh-huh,
and he took the information like he expected it.
okay.
That was probably 7:30, 8 o'clock
In the morning.
yesterday morning.
Okay. I'll check in, because I'm heading back to the office when we wrap it up here. Anything else, anyone?
No.
Any comments? Next meeting,
March 7th.
March 7th, how's that work for everybody?
Why so early? That's
Right
the
now,
first.
it
That's the
looks
first
good.
Wednesday.
You want to try the 14th?
Well, I might be out of town that week. That's the only reason why I'm making a
Which week?
the 7th that week.
And this time it was
Well,
on the
it's the
7th,
first,
so it's the
yeah,
first.
that is the first Wednesday, it's not the second
Yeah.
Wednesday, I'm not sure why.
That's why it kind of threw me off this
Well, I
today.
think that,
Because it first started on Thursday.
yes, I know, but I think that there was a reason she wanted to do it on the first, I don't remember what it was.
the first Tuesday or the first
First
Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah. Angela, can I ask you a favor? Could you just look and see if Diane's
Diane?
available?
She's
in
not
there?
right there. She's in her office.
Well, see if she's in her office, ask them to check.
Hi there, we're looking for Diane. She's available for a question. Diane,
Yeah, because that kind of threw me off this time that it was on the 7th.
she's got a meeting date.
I was surprised.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking, it was this month that she needed it on the first Wednesday.
Yeah, because then that puts April 4th would be the first Wednesday.
No, it usually is the second Wednesday.
It usually is.
Yeah, and it just so happened that
I
this
gotcha.
week, hi Diane, I know this particular month, we use the 7th, and it's not the second Wednesday, but the first Wednesday, and I think there was a reason for that, if I remember correctly, that you preferred the first Wednesday this month.
Well, it always falls between the two board meetings.
Yeah.
And the board meetings this month are the 1st and the 15th. So,
What about next month?
I think it's the same thing. It's March 1st and the 15th.
So
Same
then
thing.
You have to go there. And then it'll be on the 11th, you think, on that one?
That's why. So because in the next
So
month
just
it's going to
these
be
2
the
months.
5th and the 19th.
Yes. It always falls in between the two because
That's
then
what we've been trying to do, I
stuff
know.
gets reported to the board.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I might not go out of town. There's a good chance I will be. I just hate missing these.
Well, does anybody else have a problem with the
No.
7th in March?
No.
Not that I know of
Okay.
right now.
We'll keep it on the 7th, yeah.
It's fine.
Okay.
April, it should be the 5th and the 19th, but let me double check.
Then we would be back on track for the second week, so. But yeah, the 7th is good for me.
Okay, we'll make it the 7th.
I'll be on time.
Keep it at the 7th.
Yeah, so other than
That
that,
one will be-
I can't think of anything else on the motion just to adjourn.
Motion to
I
adjourn.
make a motion that
So
we
Dick makes a
adjourn.
motion to adjourn, I need a second.
Second.
Second coming from Angela.
All
And
in
all in
favor?
favor? We're done. All right, thank you.
right.
Um,
Go with